Brendan Iribe, CEO of Oculus.
So we're here at E3. Let's talk a little about the brand new consumer version of the Oculus Rift.
So we're super excited to announce Oculus Rift consumer version. We're showing it for the first time here at E3. This is totally refined, improved. This is what consumers are going to get. We're showing it with the single sensor that you put on your desk, and it just immediately goes away. It's invisible, kind of on your desk. It's a very simple, reserved, small little sensor that you plug into the back of the computer, and then you're all set. And an Xbox One controller, which is decades of investment into it, a really refined, awesome controller gamepad input device. And here at E3, we're also showing for the very first time our touch hand controllers. Just a prototype at this point. It's still the Half Moon prototype.
When it comes to the actual Rift, can you talk about how this version is different from past versions people may have experimented or experienced?
So this is an evolution of the Crescent Bay prototype, but now the actual consumer product. And all the different parts, whether it's the integrated audio, or it's the IPD adjustment, or the proximity sensor on inside that detects when you put the headset on, everything has been refined. The optics are slightly refined. Everything is a step up. The Constellation tracking system that gives you 360 tracking with an infrared IR LED tracking system. Everything has been refined to really deliver the best VR system.
When it comes to Windows 10, can you talk a little about how important it is plug and play wise to be able to have this Rift be able to connect to your computer?
So Windows integration, Windows compatibility has been something that we've worked on for several years now. We came out with the Rift DK1, then we had the Rift DK2, developer kits, and each time that we were coming out with a new product, we were facing new challenges on making it work streamlined with Windows. And we were doing all kinds of things going under the hood on the display driver, the display model, to try to make it not actually detect as a secondary monitor, but show up as a VR device, which Windows doesn't know what a VR device is until Windows 10, and that's one of the things that we focused on with our partnership with Microsoft, is that Windows will now detect Rift as a VR device, and that's going to be really important to plugging it in and just playing instantly. We've heard all kinds of stories from the community about people taking potentially hours to get their Rift developer kit set up, and we want it to be minutes with the consumer Rift.
The other thing you guys have is the Xbox controller. Can you talk a little about that aspect and what that opens up for developers having a target to shoot for?
So every Rift comes with an Xbox One controller, and the Xbox One controller is one of the best gamepads out there, and developers can now depend on that Xbox One controller with every Rift user, and so they can target that, and it covers a large set of genres and different kinds of experiences. You can do third-person view where you don't see your hands. You can do first-person experiences. Developers and users have really come to understand and be familiar with that kind of a gamepad. They've had decades of either developing with it or playing with it, and so bundling that in made a lot of sense for this generation. We're also offering as an add-on the touch controllers, and the touch controllers bring your hands in and are going to be incredible. They unlock this new set of VR content, which is first-person view where you see your own hands. And there's a whole new set of experiences that you can create with those. And so we really look at this as the best of both worlds. Bundled with the Rift, you get the Xbox One controller, and then as a simple add-on, you can get your hands in the game.
And speaking of getting hands on the game, you guys do have a lot of different games here. Can you kind of walk us through some of the different experiences here at E3?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that we bundled the Xbox One controller is that developers have had the gamepad. They've been developing content that we're showing here at E3. They've been developing that content for years with the gamepad. So we really wanted to make sure that we launched the Rift with as much content as possible. That was super important. We don't want to launch with just a small set. We want to launch with dozens of games. And here at E3, we're showing 9 full games that are going to launch in 2016. So we're showing bite-sized slices of them, so either it's the first level or it's a smaller experience of it, but these are going to be full games in 2016 that'll launch, and they're really high production quality. I mean, these are AAA games from AAA studios and indies, so we have games from Insomniac and High Voltage and Playful, and just a number of great developers are all making these made-for-VR games. It's super exciting, and the response so far has been awesome.